Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Noelle and today we are going to talk about the Adidas Solar Boost. Alright, so it's available in two colorways currently in the Philippines. This is the women's colorway. The men's colorway has a bit of an orange fade from here all the way up. It kind of looks more like a sunrise, if you know what I mean. I'll put up a photo here so that you kind of get the idea of the men's colorway. Alright, so when Adidas gave me the Solar Boost, they said it was kind of like the successor to the Adidas Supernova, which they released a few years ago. Given that I'd never tried that shoe either, I was kind of like, okay, it's gonna be a new shoe experience, right? And I had only ever used two other Adidas shoe models, the Pure Boost so many years back, and then the Adidas Ultra Boost X. So this was actually my first time to use an Adidas which didn't have that floating arch that the Ultra Boost X and the Pure Boost X had. So yeah, this is more of like a standard or traditional running shoe model, and I've never experienced that with Adidas before. I'm just being real here. So yeah, it was an interesting experience putting these on because I was in the past quite used to Adidas's full like sock feeling, which wrapped from my toes all the way up to my heels, including my arches. But this one, it still felt snug, you know, cozy, but it didn't really feel constricting at all, or you know, any compression whatsoever, which was different, which I liked. Okay, the shoe packs the same cushioned midsole as the brand's Ultra Boost, but beefs up the support of the upper through the midfoot without adding weight. And the three-piece tailored fiber upper delivers stay-put support without bulking up the shoe. Cool. So there is no midfoot cage as opposed to previous Adidas Boost shoes. Instead, it's a lightweight fabric designed to keep the foot locked into place over the foam. The shoe also has new construction to secure the heel at the midsole, which is intended to help the Achilles move freely and focus a runner's energy forward. So yeah, it's been tagged as a neutral shoe, but has enough support for runners on their long runs, which I felt from the get-go. Like when I put it on, I said, oh, this is the kind of shoe that you would want to use if you were going longer than 10K. Yeah, so it's got a nice beefy boost heel, continental sole or outsole, which is great because it doesn't really wear and tear that badly. One thing I noticed is this little extra bit of outsole that sticks out. I was kind of wondering what it was for, but I guess it's like a crash pad for extreme heel strikers so that they don't wear out the boost immediately. Instead, this takes the brunt of the crashing without having to add extra boost. So I guess it works because being a heel striker apparently, I haven't seen any wear up here, which I normally would on another shoe. Instead, all of the wear is on the outsole area, which is pretty cool. I like this. In fact, I actually like the whole entryway of the shoe for the feet because it allows your foot to slide in, it doesn't constrict your foot, and I do like a little bit of wiggle here in this area because any fabric that grips my Achilles heel too tightly, it tends to cause blisters or friction burns or anything like that, especially if I wear no-show socks. So I always have to wear higher socks in those kinds of cases. But this one, it's a more traditional entry to the shoe. So you can see that definitely here. This one gives a little play to the Achilles, so it's great. Obviously here, you see this little cutout from the heel. This also gives the Achilles room to play, so that's great. I've used this shoe mostly indoors, but I've also used it outdoors. And what I really like about these lugs is that they don't, they don't grab any of the little pebbles or bits of gravel, and then when you go indoors onto a treadmill, then it transfers all those pebbles there or the dust. With these lugs, they simply don't have any space to fit into, so they just fall out when your foot steps on them. And so it's a really nice transition from outdoor to indoor because you don't bring the outdoors with you into your indoor treadmill. The SOLARBOOST it provides such a nice comfy ride. I definitely could see myself running really long with this. I've had this for, what do you say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks already. But since I'm training for a 5K, most of these runs have been 30 minutes, 45 minutes, run, walk, run. And so I really haven't tested these shoes for their comfort level when you go longer, but already I felt that the additional room here in the toe box, as opposed to the sock-like feel of the UltraBoost X, it would allow your foot space to swell up but still remain comfortable. I also loved how plush this upper is near the ankle of the foot, because the other shoe models that I've tried were very direct fabric feel, so it didn't really provide any of this cushioning, which I definitely like having in my long run shoes. It's definitely a shoe that is suited to a steady pace rather than a pace that's, a sprint or whatever, because because it doesn't really, for me, it didn't really allow me to run on the midsole as much. It kind of encouraged a more rear foot strike, or it kind of coddled my rear foot strikes. So that was my impression. One thing to note about the SOLARBOOST is that it tends to hold on to moisture a bit more than, of course, the prime knit upper of the UltraBoost X, given that it's not prime knit. So and it also has additional material like the cushy thing that I mentioned, so it might hold on to your sweat, or if you drip water on it, it might hold on to that moisture a bit longer. So just make sure that you air these out immediately after you run so that they don't stay moist for too long. As with all of the Boost shoes that I've tried, the ride is really cushy and springy. If you prefer a bit of a harder ride, like you can feel the ground more, then I wouldn't recommend this, because this really does feel like you're running on clouds. So yeah, you might want to try a bit of a, I don't want to say stiffer shoe, because nobody really wants a stiff shoe, but you might want to try a different shoe with a bit more of a firm ride, as opposed to this, which is really all about comfort actually. I've also used these shoes just walking around, okay? Because it's also important to think about the people who like the form of the shoe but they don't necessarily run. And I'm happy to report that the SOLARBOOST it's great for walking around in, especially over the course of a long day. Yeah, I used this for half the day at Ironman Philippines. I had to switch out to a different pair of shoes, sadly, because I got these wet walking on the beach during the swim start all the way up to the swim finish. And I just, yeah, like I mentioned, it holds onto that moisture a little bit longer, so I had to switch out. But otherwise, I've also used these shoes in other situations, and they look pretty snazzy. They're great for your athleisure looks as well, so definitely a nice Purma shoe. Alright, so I'd like to thank Adidas for sending me a pair of these shoes to try out and review, and although it's been quite a short time, they're definitely one of my favorite pairs now to just grab and go, especially if I'm going to the gym for a nice long run session. Like I said, it's a more comfortable ride than the Ultra Boost X, which really compresses your foot. So if you don't like that compression, then this traditional shoe silhouette is for you. It provides the same, almost the same amount of boost from heel all the way up to the balls of the feet. It provides a bit more stability around the midfoot without really locking your foot in place. It gives your Achilles tendon room to move. The entryway is not as constricting. And the outsole, which is pretty similar to the outsoles of the Ultra Boost X's that I've tried. The outsole will let you run both indoors and outdoors. It's got great traction even on wet days. Yeah, the only con is that the shoe upper tends to hold the wet longer than a thinner upper would. Overall, I really liked running in these Adidas Solar Boosts because you know, at the end of the day, it sure looks good. It looks fast too, but at the end of the day, you want to feel comfortable in the shoe, especially as you go along, and I think that the Solar Boost will definitely provide you with that comfort. It was mentioned in some of the materials released about the Solar Boost that it allows neutral cushioning or a neutral shoe, but it also gives you a lot of support, and that's kind of what you need when your feet or your legs start tiring at the end of a long run, and you need some kind of support to kind of help you, and that's what the Solar Boost gives you. Okay guys, if you liked this video, if it was informative for you, please give me a thumbs up. If you've got any questions about the shoe, about how they relate to other kinds of Boost shoes, including, well, actually more primarily the Ultra Boost X line, let me know in the comments below, or you can contact me on any of my social media channels and I will try to answer you as best and as honestly as I can. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It's gonna appear somewhere here on my screen, and I hope that I will see you again next time. Bye.